Hey, what is up, influencers? Sean and Benji here on our next live or rebroadcasted hangout. Hope you're doing well. And today we're talking about 7 tips for coming up with creative video ideas for your YouTube channel. So no matter what your niche is, we believe that these tips are going to help you stay fresh, come up with ideas for your channel, especially in the fourth quarter of this year, or really at any time, so that you can have video ideas that aren't just creative, but also help you grow your channel. So we'll get to that in just a second. But if you're just jumping on or you're watching on the rebroadcast, can you let us know in the chat or in the comment section where you're watching from? And then do us a favor. Can you hit that like button, hit the share button? Let's spread the word, because we're going to be doing some Q&A in just a little bit and some other cool things on this hangout, as well as our challenge for this month. But Benji's going to tell you a little bit about video influencers if you're new here.
What's up, guys, and welcome to Video Influencers. If you are new here, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do on this channel, a little bit about us. You know, here on Video Influencers, we're helping you grow your influence, grow your income, and make an impact with online video, not just on YouTube, but on all social media platforms. You know, Sean and I, we've been on YouTube specifically for the last 8 years. We are full-time YouTubers. And, you know, when Sean and I thought of, making video influencers, we were so passionate about like sharing not only our tips and tricks and our experiences with you, but trying to get some of the more successful YouTubers to share their experiences, because we believe it's not just our story that's going to help you, but more so other people's, people with different types of content. So that's what we do here. In addition to the tips and tricks videos, we have weekly interviews with video influencers, YouTubers, and I just love it. So go check it out if you haven't already. Subscribe to this channel. There's just tons of content. A lot of people tell me they literally binge watch our channel when they find it, especially if you're trying to, grow your influence, grow your income, and make an impact with online videos. This is the place to be able to learn how to do that. So today we're talking about something that I think anybody can relate to, no matter what kind of content, whether it's a blog, whether it's Instagram, especially for video on YouTube, coming up with ideas. I think this is a thing that really sets Sean apart from a lot of people. He's always come up with ideas for not just his own channel, but for everybody. Like Sean, Judy and I, we're always asking him for ideas when we work with different kinds of brands. He's an expert. And I can tell you, even me, like thinking up ideas is something that's very fun for me, because I like being creative. But a lot of people, they have like a creative block sometimes, or they're limited by certain beliefs they have of the type of videos they can create. So today, that's what we're going to be doing.
Absolutely. And as we started out, the live chat was down, but it is up now. So you might need a refresh, but hit the live chat up and let us know where you're watching from. Grace, how is it going? We've got Gloopy Doo from Dublin. Thanks so much for being here. And we're going to jump right into the tips right now. So we're talking about 7 tips for coming up with video ideas. And you're a video influencer. You're watching this. You're passionate about online video. And you know that like creativity is the currency of our current economy, right? We've all hit, we need good ideas. We need ideas that will entertain people or build our brand. And just a couple of thoughts as we get into these is I really think that for us to increase our value, we need to become idea machines. And I've recommended this book a lot. It's really helped me out, and I will share it with you. Kind of start out, it's called Becoming an Idea Machine. And I can kind of summarize it for you, but it's really super cool. Like you can get it on Kindle for 99 cents. And it basically says this, that ideas are the currency of the 21st century, that we need so much creativity. Think about it. You're trying to come up with creativity for your Instagram, for what videos to post. You're trying to be creative on Snapchat, on Instagram stories, right? Like, how do you stay fresh? How do you stay creative? So we have some strategies, but they're really the currency of the new economy. If you can be the most creative person even on your job and come up with solutions and solve problems, you're going to increase your value. And so the other thing that I think blocks people is when they think of creativity, they think of being original. And this is a huge, huge block when it comes to coming up with creative ideas, because in one sense, if you're trying to be completely original and do something that's never, ever, ever been done before, you're probably going to be really frustrated. And some of the kind of most creative innovators of our time, one is Steve Jobs. He said that creativity is actually really just the combination of things. that a lot of times you take two things that have been done before, and you combine them, and then you kind of make something new. And so sometimes if we're trying to be original, what we really should be trying to do is add value and give our unique take on something. So if you look at YouTube and you say, I'm going to do a topic in a niche that's literally never been done before, it's probably not going to happen. But if you were trying to do, like, say, start a food channel or a cooking channel, that's not original. Lots of people are doing that, but you could do a unique spin. You could combine two things. And so sometimes people are afraid of like stealing or ripping other people's ideas. I think the key is that you want to borrow the greatest influences from around you and then combine and come out with something new. And then, you know, Benji has a few other considerations. And then we have 7 rock solid tips that are going to help you. I think here's our goal. We actually want you to come up with ideas on this call. We want to hang out. Like today, whether you're on the replay or not, let's hang out. Let's grab a journal, grab something to write with, and let's work on your content right now, coming up with some fresh ideas. So Benji, hit us with those considerations.
Absolutely. And just to let you guys know, while we're doing this, we are trying to read as many of the comments as possible. You know, I want to remind you guys, we're doing this because of the survey answers that you guys did this last week. You know, we put out a video asking you guys what kind of videos you guys want us to make. And this was one of the topics. Literally, this is one of the first ones. So like when you guys put things into the chat, you fill out the survey, we're listening. So please give us more topics, give us questions, but a couple things about coming up with ideas and things to consider. The number one thing before you even come up with an idea is create content you're passionate about. Create content that you have fun with, right? I think before you even come up with ideas, it's going to be so much easier to come up with these videos based on something that you're excited about. You know, like when it's something boring to you or you have no interest in it, but you're like, I just want to create a channel for the sake of becoming a YouTuber, you know, it's going to be like uphill. But think of something that, you know, like you love doing on the weekends or you love doing at any time of the day. And if you start there with that type of content, the ideas are just going to come flowing. Trust me. Like when it comes to food, Sean, tell me if this is correct. When it comes to food, I have a billion ideas, right? And I think that's anybody can relate to that because I love it. Like literally, I think about food all day. Outside of video influencers and me vlogging, food is on my mind. Now, who doesn't have food on the mind? But the point is, I love it so much that I come up with these not only specific ideas for videos, but also very interesting ones. Like Sean said, like combining different ideas, right? Because like my head's there. The second thing is, you know, second consideration is do not limit the ideas that you can have, right? Let yourself be free to come up with so many different ideas. The reason I bring this up is we just did, actually Sean interviewed Grant Cardone recently and had one of the best examples of this. He said, you know, whatever it is that you're passionate about, and he talked about cutting hair, right? He's like, think of every single idea around hair that you could create a video on. So he was saying like, talk about different kinds of scissors, talk about bad haircuts, talk about good haircuts, talk about, you know, the best shampoos, the best conditioners, talk about the best barbershops, the worst salons, right? And why I love that idea is because you take something that a lot of us take for granted, a lot of us just don't think too deep into, but he just expanded that thing. Like he was like, there are no limitations. And the reason I like that example is because think about this. If you're really into hair, if you're really into a type of content, there's probably other people that are just as into it as you. And that's what we talk about when we're talking about like the riches are in the niches or really building your tribe, your audience that's specific, right? So that's the great thing about YouTube. That's the great thing about the internet is you can connect with those people that are just into hair as much as you all over the world. You know, Sean and I, when we talk about our audience, we love that we have audience members from India. So if you're from India, let us know, right? We love that we have people from Russia and all over the US because we're connecting with people from different areas, but have the same kind of love for the content that I put out on this channel as we do, right? And keep that in mind, no matter how mundane you might think other people think about your type of content, because if you remember there's other people just as passionate as you, then you'll just create so many other videos. The third thing to consider is what kind of videos, especially if you're first starting out, what kind of videos would you search for if you were first starting out on YouTube, right? Like for ideas like on things that you need solutions to, or topics you would be researching. Think of those first ideas, right? You may think it's too simple, but remember, there's a lot of people that are getting introduced to the world of YouTube. I would doubt there's many people out there on the internet that haven't seen a YouTube video, but there's still a huge majority of people that don't understand how powerful YouTube is as a search engine. So when they do, they're typing in very simple things, right? So don't discount your ideas just because they're simple. In fact, I always tell Judy, my wife, who's been doing beauty for years, you should be doing basic tutorials, right? Because there's still females out there and some males that are looking for those basic tutorials. And same thing on my food channel. I never limit myself to how simple it is. In fact, a lot of my viewers always acknowledge and appreciate the fact that even though I'm cooking these really dope recipes, you know, like super fancy, super tasty, I'll still do like a boiled egg tutorial, right? Because I know there's people out there searching. So those are my 3 tips, you know, create content you're passionate about to come up with ideas more easily. Expand your mind on what type of ideas you can create around your content. And third, go super simple and think of the type of videos you would be searching for when you first were on YouTube.
Absolutely. All right. So if you're just joining us, you're watching on the broadcast, let us know where you're watching in the live chat, or if it's gone to the rebroadcast, can you throw in the comments any questions you have? We're going to do Q&A in just a second, where you're watching from. And can you throw some love up right now? The thumbs up, hit the share button for somebody that needs this. 7 tips for coming up with video ideas. And here we go. We'll jump into the tips right now. Number 1, books and magazines. Now, hang with me. This is actually, I think, a power tip that sometimes we're so digital in like the digital age, and this is of course true for blogs and things like that, that we miss this. And I'll show you what I mean. If you had a fitness channel, I think you should be subscribed to magazines in your niche. I think a good way to clarify and even connect with people that are in your niche would be to subscribe to the magazines that are in your niche. So here's Men's Health, right? You might be sitting there like, I need some fresh video ideas for my channel. Just on the cover, you have Boost Your Immunity the Natural Way. And you're like, oh, actually, I know some stuff about that. I wasn't even thinking about that, but I just looked at the cover, and that's a great title. Now, keep in mind that highly paid marketers and influencers come up with these are even video titles. 6-pack abs in 28 days. That's a cool video idea if it works, like if I could do that. So if you had a fitness channel, you could do lose weight forever, 10 simple changes. Like, so we're literally just like taking ideas right off the cover of this magazine, and then of course tweaking them so that they're unique to you. But that becomes a super good way to be getting ideas. And the reason I like physical magazines is you can go with just maybe a piece of paper, old school, and a few magazines, and just kind of brainstorm what's inspiring you. And so I highly recommend being subscribed to magazines in your niche. So if you had a lifestyle, kind of beauty or fashion, boom, Esquire, right? And now you've got like things, the latest stuff, Rebel style fall boots to cool suits. So now you're like, okay, what is happening in fall? You're getting into the fall thinking if you have a fashion channel, getting maybe some look ideas, and then assimilating that information for yourself. So number 1, books and magazines. So the second thing would be books. And Benji mentioned Grant Cardone. And so this is actually a book by him, The 10X Rule. But I find that when I'm reading books, I hit the sticky notes on the pages for like points of inspiration. And again, maybe you have a personal development, success, and business channel. If you're reading books in that arena, you're going to be getting hit with ideas throughout the entire time. And you start thinking, oh, that could be a video idea, or that could be a video idea. And so pulling ideas from your environment, the reality is we need to be sponges of our surroundings. And just like Steve Jobs said, creativity is the connection of things. So you maybe say, I was reading, Success Magazine, and then I saw this and like, ooh, that would be a fresh idea and unique spin if I combine these 2 things. Number 2 is really live events. I think it's so important to try to get to the live events in your arena. If you want to be a leader, in cooking, and food, then whenever you go to some kind of a convention or something in your city, like you're going to be around other influencers, other thinkers, other movers, others. I mean, maybe you watch it online, maybe you watch the Food Network. But what we're kind of talking about here is total immersion in your space. When I go to a live event, we talk about online video. I go to conferences all the time to learn and sharpen our skills for video influencers, talk with people, and out of it, you like literally have almost unlimited video ideas from listening to the sessions and so on and so forth. Yeah. So what kind of events could you jump into that are related to your niche that could come up with ideas like that?
Yeah, let me piggyback on that, because I love this one probably the most out of everything, because anybody can do this for the most part. You can go to events around your type of content, and why I love it, why it's like probably one of the most strategic ways to do it. Sean is gonna share with you not just the things about books and magazines, but also some research tools, right? But there is one challenge of those. It might not be the most relevant information, but when you go to a live event and you not only observe other people, but you're hearing about what concerns people have, what interests people are, like having conversations around, you're getting like the most relevant content at the time. And Gary Vaynerchuk, he is great at this. What he does, he doesn't really consume a lot of content online. He actually mentions that he's like a huge advocate of like not filling his brain with other people's stuff. But what he does is when he goes out into the world, he observes what people are looking at on their phones, right? He's hearing conversations about what people have concerns about. I love that. I do the same thing too. That's why live events, especially these conferences or conventions, you're gonna meet people, your potential viewers, and you can literally ask them questions. And there's so much more information that is gained in a live conversation. That's why we do these live broadcasts. But when you're there with a person and you can kind of banter and you can go back and forth, you're gonna get some great wisdom, right? And you can bring that back to come up with really great ideas for videos.
Absolutely. And, of course, some people are mentioning it. It's true. I mean, we're even limited as well. It is expensive to fly, and you can't go to all kinds of different live events all the time because of the cost. But one example is that nowadays you can jump on live events digitally. So for instance, CES is a huge event here in Vegas. Unfortunately, I live in Vegas, so I'm able to like just drive over there. It's 10 minutes away, right? But some people, in fact, last year I was working, I did a collab video with my friend Juan Pedro. He flew here from Chile, paid for his hotel. I mean, it was an expensive trip for him. But here's what happens around CES. There's streams, there's blogs, there's recaps, there's people that are there doing live stuff. So you could even hop on you could be the person who curates the information and the latest press releases and so on and so forth, and still make content even if you weren't there, if you just kind of get creative with it. So never let like limitations happen as far as if you can't actually get there. There's still ways to really take advantage of that tip. Number 3 is YouTube search. Now check this out. We've talked about this before, but check out how this could work. If you are reading and you're like, okay, you know what? I have been thinking a lot about how to boost my immunity lately. I'm kind of reading this, that inspires me. It's something I'm passionate about. I'm going to put my unique spin on it. So if you go to the YouTube search, thing, and we have Benji frozen on screen here, and you just type in how to boost your immune, check this out. Now, YouTube is going to kind of confirm and give you more video ideas. So you're like, all right, I could make a video called how to boost your immune system, or sure enough, how to boost your immune system naturally. Bam, there's the video idea right there. That's actually what you would title your video. And it might have all started because you started here, then you took it to YouTube search. And because YouTube gives you those other predictions, now it might take your idea somewhere else. And what you can also then do is connect the fact that what you're inspired by, what your idea is actually relevant and that people are searching for it. So now you have a chance of breaking your video and getting more views and things like that. So those are the first 3. We're going to do 7 and we're going to get to Q&A in just a second. But if you're getting value from this, can you hit the like button, share this with somebody who needs to see this? And we actually, again, as Benji said, this was a survey question, a few of you, and thank you so much for filling out the survey. We linked it up. If you haven't filled it out, just a great way for us to create more content for you. It's in the description But you're asking, how do you come up with video ideas? So these are some of our strategies. So the fourth one, this ties right into it, is ask your audience on social. So we're full, like it's literally happening right now. Benji is like, hey, what do you want to do the hangout on Saturday? I'm like, well, let's open up the survey, which was asking you guys. We go through and then we're like, here's a question. I'm reading him. How do you come up with video ideas? He's like,
literally,
hey, let's do
the first one, the first one.
And so because we kind of asked like, hey guys, what do you want? So here's something you could do. I saw Shalene Johnson just did this. She did a Facebook Live and she narrowed down 4 topics and then just said, you know, we're trying to come up with what's our future content going to be. But we figured, why stay in our own bubble? Let's connect with you. So no matter how big your audience is, try to get feedback from 1 person, 5 people, 50 people. But it's cool. She went on Facebook Live and then got data in the comments, what people are, you know, what they wanted to see out of the 4 topics she shared. You could leave it open-ended. You know, we just did a survey because that helps us not only just come up with ideas, but also how relevant it is for the influencers community. Because we want the nuances of what you're going through. So ask for comments, do it on other social media platforms, get video ideas from your community.
Yeah. You know, why I love this, just like the live events, sometimes we'll do a lot of research, right? Sometimes we'll see things on magazines, books, on the internet. We'll see what's trending, but sometimes like our ideas, even based on all that research, isn't what our audience wants to see, right? That's why we do the surveys, right? So when you actually respond to them, you're doing 2 things. Number 1, getting the most relevant information and also showing appreciation. You know, Sean and I, it's no secret, we're doing this to not only like add value to you, but to acknowledge the fact that you filled out the survey, right? That's huge value. And again, you know, one of the things that we always preach is it's not just about delivering the value, but also building the trust. When you can get your audience trust, then you can do so many things with that. So I want to move in right to tip number 5, which is create an ideas journal. Why I love this, and I'll hand it off to Sean because he actually has like a crazy journal, right? But sometimes it's as simple as keeping a list around. It doesn't even have to be in a journal. It can be on your phone, right? Like I usually just do it on a piece of paper. You know, a lot of people forget, it's like, if you have an idea, write it down right away, because how many times will you come up with an idea, you'll just forget it, right? Like oftentimes I'll find lists that I created years ago. I'm like, man, these are actually great ideas. So like, make sure you keep a list around or something so that when you come up with ideas, oftentimes these ideas for me don't come up when I'm in front of the computer or I'm by my phone. It's like when I'm talking to somebody. So it's so powerful to always keep a list and always to visit that list and be constantly adding to it so you can mold some of your ideas together.
Absolutely. So tell us in the live chat or in the comments, if you're watching the rebroadcast, where do you write down and capture your ideas? I know for some people it's in Evernote. I know for some people it's just the notes tab in their iPhone. And I actually have running lists everywhere. But I feel like, again, ideas are the currency of the 21st century. Your value goes up when you can have ideas on demand. And one of the ways to do that is to be capturing ideas all the time. And so we mentioned that book, Becoming an Idea Machine. The thesis is, and I have this cool journal, it's actually good idea, bad idea. The thesis is not even actually that you're going to constantly come up with good ideas. The thesis is that you're going to constantly come up with ideas in general. And then all of a sudden in the middle of it, you're like, oh, boom, that's the one. So really practically, I try to challenge myself every single day to write down 10 ideas. And for example, in our niche, one time I wrote 10 ways to grow your Snapchat. Because I was like, how could you grow a Snapchat? Like, let me really get creative. Let me research it. Now that would probably just be one video, like one video about how to grow your Snapchat, but I need to come up with the tips. What are the 10 ways? Thinking about it, strategizing it. I wrote down, you know, for us, we were like 10 people we'd love to interview. And I just take one day, write down 10 names, then start thinking about who we could reach out to. You know, 10 products I want to review, and then stretch myself to think about that. 10 ideas for the holidays, for videos I can make based around fall, Christmas, Black Friday, Cyber Monday. And in fact, we'll get through all 7 points, but that is actually our October challenge. It'll be best in the rebroadcast because the live comments disappear. But we want to hear from you right now. As you're doing this, we want you to be thinking, what are some ideas for your channel? So our October challenge is for you to make a plan for what you're going to do in fourth quarter, because this is one of the biggest opportune times for YouTube. It's a very popular time, right, where people are watching for Christmas lookbooks or holiday decor ideas or Black Friday deals or Cyber Monday ideas, or just fall, how to keep your home safe if you're traveling over the holidays. I mean, we're in the moment right now. We're in the countdown to the end of the year. Our October challenge, we want to have your idea book full of video ideas for your channel this season to help you grow your influence, income, and impact. So let us know, and I'm going to read a couple where you write down ideas.
Absolutely, and we'll just go right into the next tip, which is number 6, getting rest. Sean, have you mentioned this yet? Getting rest? And this is huge because you know what? No one would think of, getting rest equating to ideas. And I know that I think more so in the past year, both Sean and I really value this as obviously we get older, on the grind, especially when you're producing videos, you can get pretty tired, especially being a YouTuber. We both know what it takes to do A to Z of creating content, right? So if you're getting tired and you're like putting on the grind, it's late at night, literally probably one of the worst times to come up with ideas. Now, I don't want to say that for everybody. I know some people, it's like the best ideas come at night, but you know what? Even those people, they still need rest. So really simple, but make sure you go to sleep. One of the things I like to do is I go to sleep early, so I wake up early. And usually that time between like 6 and 8 o'clock in the morning when I'm undisturbed, no one's like calling my phone. I try not to even check emails. The best ideas come to me. So I love this pointer that Sean brings up.
Absolutely. And, one of the things with rest too, that we've studied a ton of creatives and like creative professionals over the years, what they learned is that sometimes you're too close to a problem and it gets you kind of frustrated. So rest could mean a lot of things. It means just taking a step away. So if you are having, maybe even right now, you feel like I just am not coming up with ideas for your channel, maybe the last thing that you need to do is just sit at your computer and just grind it out and get more fatigued. A lot of times what you need is maybe to go on a walk, maybe to change, and actually we'll just go right into number 7, which kind of ties together, a change of environment. Because sometimes I'll find that I do things so rigorously and continuously on the grind that if I just go with Sonia, we go on a date, my wife, and we get into a different environment, we just go see a movie or walk through some mall or go to some restaurant, that it's in the environments when you're not planning on getting hit with inspiration, that sometimes inspiration comes. And then that's when you want to just be ready to write it down in your phone. You're like, oh, wow, I never knew about this, because you changed your environment and you gave yourself some time away from the problem and the grind. We could get into a fishbowl in our niche. And so this is actually, I think, a iron kind of clad principle. There's 2 different types of thinking we could be. We could be in like limited, impossibility, discouraged thinking, where we're like, everything's been done. There's no hope. YouTube's too crowded. All the ideas have been done. Forget it. Why even try? And you've probably been there. I've been there, right? When you're kind of just discouraged and it's the glass is half full. What we want to do is we need rest so we can shift back into possibility, opportunity thinking, where now we're like, okay, we're fresh, we're creative, we're making connections again, our brain is working again, and we're able to say, not everything's been done. I can bring a unique approach. Or even if I do something that's completely been done before, it's still going to be different because of me. And we start thinking kind of positive, and we get into maybe a change of environment, which sums it all up, right? Maybe going to a live event, maybe just getting out of the house, going somewhere else, and letting just nature, your surroundings infuse you with fresh creativity.
Yeah, I want to bring up Casey Neistat, right? Like changing your environment, and going back to what we were mentioning before is observing, a different environment. I think some people just get so stuck in social media. watching other people's videos, and research. Even though I think all three of those things can be very beneficial if you guys want to understand what people are talking about, what people are watching. But sometimes just like changing your environment altogether, being totally disconnected. How many movies do you watch where like somebody invents something and it's because they're like randomly walking, they're thinking about something, and then they observe somebody else and they just put one and one together, right? Like inventions, that's how inventions come about sometimes. It's like very random. So, all these tips about coming up with ideas, the reason it's so important is because content, right? When Sean and I suggest a content calendar, we're talking about at least once a week if you can do it, right? It's better to do once a month for 12 months than to do 12 in 1 month and not do anything the rest of the year. But that's a lot of content you have to come up with, right? So all these tips are ultimately so that you can create videos. And that's why we're so passionate about this. It's like, people do write books about it, but Sean and I, we could probably talk for 3 to 4 hours about this. And why I'm so excited is because now we're going to go ahead and move into Q&A, but I want to hand it off back to you, Sean. Is there anything else you want to mention before we do ask or answer some questions? Because I actually do have some questions on deck.
Perfect. Okay, so we'll do Q&A just now. If you're just joining us, thanks so much for being here. Can you hit the like button if you're getting value out of this? Everything we did is summarized in the show notes. So before we transition into Q&A, you can, if you haven't filled the survey, we would love to get feedback from you. A link to the surveys in the show notes in the description, and that just helps us. We're planning out really the next 12 months. We're kind of thinking about the next year. We're thinking about 2017. We really appreciate you, and we want to create the best content. If you have any ideas of people for us to interview, the link to that is there. We also, through a link, you can check out that book, How to Become an Idea Machine. It's super cool. It's 99 cents ebook. And that really just goes into the thesis of becoming an idea machine, someone who just pumps out more ideas than you could ever create. And then, yes, post some questions in the comments. And our October challenge is a plan. Make a plan. So you could talk a little bit about what your plan is in the live chat or post in the comments. But we want to say, what are your video ideas that you want to get done for fall, for Christmas, for the holidays, for winter? We're thinking about our January 1 because New Year's, if you're part of this video influencers community, we want to add so much value to you. Prior planning prevents poor performance. Every minute you spend planning produces like 1,000 times return on energy and return on your effort if you spend some time planning. So we wanted to do this hangout so you could be making your strategy for October, November, December. What are going to be your video ideas? How are you going to strategically position yourself to ride the wave that is the fourth quarter? And let's jump into some Q&As. Post some questions. Benji, hit that first question.
Boom. And I got a question that I'm going to love answering because it's around a topic that I'm very passionate about. Jenny Chen asks, I am an Emirates flight attendant. What's your suggestions on traveling vlogs for me? Now, before I answer that, you have to ask yourself, why do you want to create a travel vlog? What's the purpose of it? What's the ultimate goal of it? Because that'll determine a lot of things. But like to relate it to what we're talking about, if you're a travel flight attendant, if you're a flight attendant, you're traveling all the time, which is awesome because you're going to be a really seasoned traveler. You know what it takes to, book hotels, what things to consider with flights and just going to different destinations. But what's even better is you literally have like a research tool that's invaluable. You're traveling with travelers, right? And a flight attendant's job is to literally interact with the guests on the plane, right? With the passengers. So literally, when you have these conversations, make observations about what kind of things they talk about, what kind of concerns they have, whether it's on the flight or just in general in their travels. Like, how did they book their travel, right? Like, I would literally ask them all these kind of questions. And, I don't think it's not professional. I think that people will enjoy it. People just love talking about themselves, right? So don't be afraid to just ask them, like, how did you book this trip? Why are you going here? These are actually questions I hear from flight attendants all the time. So my tip for you, Jenny, is utilize the audience that's right in front of you to learn about what kind of things to vlog about, right? We just interviewed somebody named Eric Conover out of New York City. That video will be going up here soon. And he talks about, it's like, you know, I not only think about things I want to watch, but I think about videos that other people that aspire to travel want to see, right? Like, what are the questions that travelers have? What are the places that travelers want to see? And, you know, that's a great thing about a travel vlog. That's what you're doing. You're letting people vicariously travel through you. So hopefully some of those tips are helpful. Like I said, I love to travel. I think that's one of the #1 reasons why people just like, you know, save up money, try to make money, and in our case, become YouTubers, because travel is such a big part of being an influencer, right? Whether, you know, going to different events, getting invited to speak, or just the business around it. So thank you so much, Jenny. You guys keep the questions coming. Please like this video if this is beneficial. Share this with somebody that could use these tips and tricks for coming up with ideas for their YouTube channels.
Absolutely. Hitting a couple rapid fire questions. The pianokeyboardguy.com. Thanks so much for being on the live stream. Appreciate you. Is there anything as posting too many YouTube videos per day, like 3 a day? Can that be counterproductive? I actually don't think it would be counterproductive, but here's what happens is if the quality drops, and our formula is kind of, I would rather post 1 high quality video per week than 7 mediocre videos per week, because 1 high quality video on YouTube can reach farther. It can keep working for you. And it's kind of all branding, right? People are coming to you like, and you're building a reputation with every video. So if you're constantly putting out average videos, then people are like, oh man, the quality's dropping. However, one of the best examples is like YouTube, you know, networks or channels like Collider that have like a whole infrastructure to pump out a lot of what's trending. They have like a team and they pump out so much content per day. So there's 2 things you're focusing on: your quantity, but also your quality. Or we also like to say your value and your volume. You want volume, like on, let's say on a scale from 1 to 10 in your niche. I think this is really important. Rate your own videos, like really with good self-awareness. How are your videos on a scale from 1 to 10? I would never want to upload a video that drops below a 5. And I would want to keep all those videos at like a 7 or an 8 or a 9, right? And so if you can keep them at an 8, 9, 10 and do 3 a day, well, more power to you, right? But again, it's all creating a reputation with your audience. And so and then if your quantity is a 1, you know, a week, and you can throttle that up to a 5, you know, daily, and the value goes down to about a 6, you know, it's up to you. But I think it's important that we as video influencers are very intentional, that we keep our volume up, our consistency up, but we also keep our value up and our quality up.
Boom. I love that. And, you know, this next question is again about traveling, but I'm going to try to relate it to just about anybody and specifically vloggers. But A2Y Travelers asks, we are a travel vlogging couple and our channel growth is really slow. We follow the tips on how to develop your channel, but still not getting a big following. Any suggestions? Well, first off, A2Y Travelers, thank you so much for, you know, sharing some of your challenges, because guess what? Sean and I can relate to this. I'm sure a lot of people on here can relate to this. Your channel growing slowly. And this is what I'd say, especially for people that are vlogging, right? You know, we'll take it back first. Vlogging is something that was created by some of the successful YouTubers initially. So, you know, people like my wife, she was doing videos on beauty for like 4 or 5 years, and then decided, hey, you know, my viewers are always interested about my life behind the scenes. I'm going to start doing vlogs, right? There's so many other people like that where they already were creating content. They had context with their viewers. They built a relationship, and then people not only want to continue consuming the content that they were known for, but they want to know more about their life. So then they start a vlog and boom, they get subscribers immediately. They're getting the views immediately because they had already built that relationship up. So a lot of new YouTubers that want to become vloggers, they don't understand this. Maybe they didn't see this, or maybe they didn't realize this. And it takes a while to build that relationship up. So that's my number one consideration is, you know, if you guys want to build a following and you want to start out vlogging, it's going to take a while. Period. Okay. Unless you're like just super crazy, like exciting, or like there's something about your life that is a totally wacky or different, you know, it's going to take a while to sell your personality. There's a couple that I recently interviewed, and hopefully we get their interview soon. The Weiss family. They're a vlogging couple, and they had the same challenges. Okay, they said they were putting out videos. They could be anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, and they just weren't gaining traction, right? And you know, if you're putting out a 15 to 20 minute vlog every single day and you're not gaining traction, like, it starts looking hopeless. So that's why I love this question, because it's real and it sucks, right? Like, you feel like you're not getting anywhere. So my suggestion is this. What the Weiss family did was take it back a few notches. Instead of just creating random vlogs, they created mini vlogs around specific topics. And this is why it's so relevant for this video. They had to come up with ideas that were popular in their videos and make vlogs around that. For example, so like say you have a day where you're gonna go to the zoo, right? And you're vlogging all day. So you vlog yourself waking up. Maybe boring, maybe fun, I don't know. Then you talk about what you're gonna eat. And you're like, oh, this is my outfit of the day. And then it's you driving. And then finally, like 5 or 6 minutes into the vlog, you finally get to the zoo, right? And then you vlog the zoo, and then you have this whole thing. Anyways, 15 to 20 minutes of you going to the zoo, but your whole day. You title that San Diego Zoo. This is the reality. If nobody knows you, if nobody's ever watched you and they're searching for the San Diego Zoo and they have to get through all that, they may or may not watch it. Suggestion would be, this is what the Weiss family did. They just took the San Diego's, I don't know why I'm saying San Diego Zoo, but they just take the zoo portion and make an episode out of that. So instead of doing a 15 to 20 minute vlog, they're doing like a 5-minute vlog of only them at the zoo. The reason this is so powerful is those people looking for footage of that zoo, of animals in general, they're more likely to watch that episode, right? Because it's much shorter, it's getting right to the point. And in the process, over time, you could potentially gain them as a subscriber based on how they like your personality, how they like your content. So again, going back to vlogging in general, I know you guys are travel vloggers, but vlogging in general, the history of vlogging, why it's so big, you have to acknowledge that. But the way you kind of hack it, the way you like grow it right from vlogging and not doing anything else, is being very specific on the type of ideas you vlog around and you upload, especially in the beginning. But I will tell you this, even Judy and I, and we're seasoned vloggers, been doing this since 2011, we still try to do this with our channel, right? Sometimes we're just like, I mean, a great example is Casey Neistat. Basically, all his videos are like this, but he just did one on his flight on Emirates Airlines. So his whole vlog was literally, Sean, just correct me if I'm wrong, but checking into Emirates Airlines, talking about he got upgraded first class, showing he took a shower, and then ending it getting off the plane. Was that correct, Sean?
Yep, basically, yeah, focused all on that one thing.
20 million views. I don't know, it might be even more than that. So take note from literally the best vlogger right now, and that would be my suggestion, is focus on smaller videos around specific ideas.
Absolutely. So we will do a couple more questions. We'll take it up to the top of the hour. If you're just joining us, you can check out show notes in the description below. If you haven't downloaded our guide, it's a great way to optimize your videos. Someone said, do you have any tips for super newbies? Our tip actually is to definitely download that guide, videoinfluencers.net/19 tips, to really think through your thumbnail, your title, your description, sharing on social media. If you're just starting your YouTube channel, growth hack like crazy. You got to hustle like crazy, and that guide will help you. So that's links in the description, videoinfluencers.net/19 tips. We also, if you haven't taken our survey, we'd love to hear from you. This hangout is a result of the survey. So if you jump in the survey, we'll be able to pull maybe your idea, your topics, and more of your questions. If we don't have a chance to answer your question, include it in the survey and we can make a dedicated video about it. Link in the description as well. Jacob asked 2 questions. He said, 1, is it okay to switch your niche if you get bored with it, I would say yeah, because you want to stay passionate. You might lose your past audience, but you can always, the cool thing about YouTube is you can do whatever you want, whenever you want. Like, unless you have some sort of a manager or some huge conglomerate above you, it's a wild west out there. Total freedom, total creative white space for you to create your art, share your message, share your best work. And so you can do whatever you want. But Jacob also asked what you would do to grow a fitness channel. And I thought this would be really practical and helpful. If you had an athletic channel, I think that I would look at the intersection of these three things: your skill, trends, and white space. So if we take it back to the idea in this, Jacob, I suggest if you're doing athletic stuff, I would subscribe to magazines. This would then be a relevant one for you. So then you go in here and then you're going through, you're looking for ideas. Maybe you don't have any clue about how to boost your immunity. Well, that's not your skill. But maybe you actually have tons of exercises about abs and six packs and building out, being lean in that space. Well, that's your skill. Then it's like, okay, well, what are the trends? What are people searching for? What is hot right now? Maybe it's, if it is back to school or it's back to summer, then you jump on the trends with how you can add value with your skill to it. And then the last one is white space. And so at the intersection of, okay, I am kind of good at this. What's trending right now? What are people searching for? And then what doesn't have a ton of competition? This is how you're going to grow your YouTube channel. So I'll just say, as a case study, my channel Think Media TV is a tech channel, but I had to niche down within that. I'll say, like, I'm not an expert on VR. I actually don't know anything about drones. I've never flown one. I'm not an expert in any kind of Androids. I use an iPhone. So inside of tech, there's tons of things I can check off that I'm not good at. So I began to focus as far as my skill. I realized, well, in the tech space, it's more about like video production, cameras, audio equipment, lighting, the tools that creators use, because that's what I've been doing for 15 years. So tech is like huge. But then my little white space in there, and then looking for where people haven't, maybe made videos, and I've been able to rank a lot of videos, is because I jump into the white space of like, well, this is my greatest skill. This is some of the questions people are asking. And then these are some of the areas that don't have a ton of search traffic yet. And if you can find that little space in the middle, the intersection of those three things, then the videos you put out will really help you growth hack your channel.
Boom. And I only have one more question that I think that anybody could relate to. And I just want to kind of finish it off with a little bit of inspiration. Let me pop it up here. This comes from Chase and Jess. We are adding food in our vlogs because we are obsessed with our local food. Maybe we should take that stuff out. Thanks for that advice, Benji Man TV. Let me tell you, Chase and Jess, I love that idea. In fact, I've suggested that to people. You guys know I love food, right? And this is a perfect example of combining something like vlogging and food, combining two different things to create something, but even a third part, local, okay? That gets even more niche. So this is the thing. This is such an underserved niche. Local food vlogs, okay? Literally, you can do this anywhere in the world, okay? Because there's people, most likely, if you live in a major city or a place that's got a lot of tourists coming to it, then you can create a vlog around local food and be very relevant. Okay, so the truth is, you might not get 1 million views on it. You may surprise yourself, especially in a place like New York. But the point is, you're going to serve a very specific niche type of content that people are looking for. Think about this. How many people have gone to a city and yelped where to eat? I mean, I wish I could see people raising their hands, put it in the comments area. I know Sean and we do all the time. Like when we go somewhere, like actually Sean usually just kind of asks me where to eat. But, I'll go on Yelp, right? Or I'll do my research. If there was a person in that city that was like the vlogger for local food, I would love that. And if they put out a video like the top 5 Chinese places in San Diego, I would watch it, right? Especially if it was short. So I love that idea. I don't think you should take it out. Now, it will depend though on what your channel is all about, ultimately where you're going. But it's a great way to hack some free views because you're doing something that I feel like is really underserved. And that's kind of what I want to end on when it comes to ideas. You know, like Sean and I have been doing this for 8 years. Not only have we seen a lot with our channels, but through other people's channels that we help out, but we have interviewed a lot of people and we've talked to even more YouTubers, and we're always surprised at the kind of YouTube channels there are out there. And we still to this day don't believe that there is any lack of ideas. There isn't any shortage of people needing your videos, okay? There's actually a huge underserved audience on YouTube that are looking for stuff, not really finding what they want. They're just finding what is kind of like the solution for the problem, but you could be a better solution. You could have higher quality. You could be more passionate. You could be more purposeful, and you can be more ninja. You can hack it. You can be like super short, to the point. What I mean, why I'm ending on this note, why I love this question, acknowledging this, is because literally the more specific you get, the better it is, right? So when you asked me this question, I was so excited because not only was I passionate about it, I know that you could do this in every city right now, right? Like if I had $1 billion, and maybe this is something I need to consider, I would go out and literally hire people to create these channels, right? And in fact, food is great because so many people are passionate about it, right? And a lot of people are always searching on Yelp. Look how successful Yelp is, right? So literally anywhere you could get somebody that knows that local area, knows about food, and if they know enough about video, they can literally create a vlog around it. And there's so many opportunities on the local level. People want to become like a Casey Neistat, so like Samsung, sponsor them, or like someone like my wife who gets to work with makeup companies. There's a lot of opportunities locally. I got something that just happened to me that I'm super psyched about, and it's just within Seattle. Like it's not relevant for anybody else, but I'm excited about it because the opportunities it brings me. So you guys know that we're doing this because we believe in YouTube. We believe in online video, that there's so much more coming our way, so many more opportunities. And there's a lot of people out here, people like you watching us, that might be limited because they think it's already been done, or they think you have to do it a certain way. And I love what Sean just said. There are no rules. It is still like the Wild West, right? Go out there and stake your or claim your stake, or whatever they say. Go find what it is that you're going to build, and build it today.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for joining us. Just a couple things. Definitely check out the latest stuff. We put up a new video on the best vlogging camera. We share some of our top 5 picks. And we also, if you haven't done the survey, the link is in the description of this video. And we have new content coming your way weekly and soon. And then you can also connect with us on Twitter. If you have questions, you can hit up Benji at BenjiManTV, myself at Sean Cannell. And also grab this download, 19 things to do every single time you upload a YouTube video. Its link is in the description below. And that's our free guide. And it's helped a lot of people. We've been getting cool results. We're hearing from you that your views are going up, your subscribers are going up. Whether you're just starting from scratch, we get emails, and we don't always get to reply to all of them, but we do. We're listening, we're reading your comments, we're seeing all your emails, and we love the results that you're getting. We're here to help, and we are so pumped for the next year of Video Influencers. We've been just got together in Seattle hanging out, and we shot a lot of new content. Plus we got a lot of cool things coming up that we cannot share everything with you right now, but we cannot wait. And we're so thankful for you and appreciate you so much that you're a part of this community. If you're watching on the replay, let us know where you're watching from in the comments. And let's jump in the October challenge. The challenge is to get a plan ready for what you're gonna do this season for October, November, December. This is not a time, in our opinion, to rest. You should rest, but it's a time to actually not think like, let me wait until another wave of opportunity comes around. No, right now is the time to hustle, as fall, winter, all of these topics are trending. That's the shift, and your YouTube channel can tap into those trends. And so use these 7 tips to come up with creative video ideas and make your October plan, and let us know about it in the comment section. Benji, closing words.
You guys, YouTube's awesome. We've always thought it was awesome. I know for us, Judy and I, my wife and I, we've been doing this since 2008, and we've just seen so much opportunity, not just for us, but for other people too. And it's not just for the million subscriber channels, even people with less than 10,000, right? Some people with as few as 1,000 subscribers. And I know even that might sound a lot if you're like starting at zero, but it is possible. We've done it multiple times. We've seen people do it multiple times in all kinds of industries, all types of content. So just start today if you haven't. And if you're in the grind mode and things are a little slow, know that there's hope, okay? And make sure you subscribe to us if you haven't already, like our Facebook page, and continue consuming the content, because this is exactly what we're trying to do. Help you build your influence, grow your income, and make an impact with online video.
Keep crushing it, everybody. Appreciate you so much, and we will talk soon. Later.